Good day, everyone. I am Raida Dilimbuna, and now let us proceed to the part 2 of Module 11, the number 2 of Gagne's Principles. So, learning hierarchies define what intellectual skills are to be learned in the sequence of instruction. So, when we see learning hierarchies are when we see hierarchies is it means rank. So, mayroong learning hierarchy si Gagne, according to him is kailangan uh, when a child or a student is learning, dapat step by step or before you can proceed to the next step is kailangan is dumaan ka muna sa first step before ka din mag-proceed sa third step is kailangan madaanan mo muna yung first and second step. So, Gagne suggests that according to complexity, stimulus recognition, response generation, procedure following, use of terminology, discriminations, concept formation, role application, and problem solving. So, sa kanya is dapat yan ang pagkakasunod-sunod ng learning. So, ito siya yung binasa ko kanina. So, by the way, hindi ito ang focus ng i-report ko or i-discuss ko. Kaya, let us proceed now to the main discussion of this video. So, Gagne's third principles is events of learning operate on the learners in ways that constitute the conditions of learning. So, this event should satisfy or provide the necessary conditions for learning and serve as the basis designing instruction and selecting appropriate media. So, itong events of learning is, ito siya yung dapat gawin or sunod para mas lalong ma-absorb ng mga estudyante yung pag-aaralan nila. Kailangan is ito yung sundin ng mga teacher for them because it can help them to really provide the students what they should learn. So, the theory includes 9 instructional events and corresponding cognitive process. So, itong events na ito is mayroong 9 events. So, kung matatandaan nyo is yung nung nagpa-activity kami is yun yung 9 events na pina-arrange ko sa inyo. So, now let us proceed to these 9 events. So, 9 events of instruction by Gagne is, the first one is gaining attention. So, ano nga ba ang gaining attention? So, of course, ito ang pinaka-first step kapag magtuturo ang isang teacher. So, dapat magpasok pa lang niya ng classroom is mag-gain na niya yung attention ng mga estudyante niya. Kasi alam naman natin ang mga estudyante is iba-iba ng mundo. Minsan kumakain, nagchichismis, nagmi-makeup o kung ano-ano ang pinanggagawa. Of course, as a teacher, it is your role to gain their attention or to get their attention para kapag magtatakil or magdidiscuss ka is interesado yung mga estudyante mo and magfo-focus and makikinig sila sa discussion mo. And the number 2 is informing the learner of the objective. So, of course, it is the most important. Isa ito sa pinaka-importante na bago ka magpo-proceed sa discussion is kailangan is i-inform or ipaalam mo muna sa mga estudyante mo kung ano ba yung objective mo sa ituturo mo or lesson mo na yan. So, ngayong college tayo is lagi naman siguro or laging binabasa or in-inform tayo ng mga teacher natin kung ano ba yung dapat nating matutunan. Pero nung elementary ako is parang madalang or hindi masyado ini-inform ng teacher yung mga estudyante niya kung ano ba yung objective ng topic na yun or hindi ko lang talaga na tatandaan. So, yun, informing the learner of the objective. So, very common naman yan and very understandable. So, number 3 is stimulating recall of prior learning. So, after mong ipaalam sa mga estudyante mo ang objectives is, pwede kang mag-ask sa mga estudyante mo kung ano ba yung last topic or discussion na ginawa niyo. So, with this is makakatulong ito na malalaman mo or mami-measure mo kung meron ba talagang naintindihan yung mga estudyante mo sa past discussion or topic na diniscuss nyo. So, makakatulong din ito para mag-focus yung mga estudyante. Kasi di ba halimbawa, nagtanong si teacher, okay class, ano yung diniscuss natin nung huli? So, yung hindi nakikinig is, ano yung tanong ni ma'am? So, parang makikurious sila sa tanong kasi matatakot sila na baka matawag sila ni ma'am and hindi sila makasagot. So, makakatulong din itong recall of prior learning sa pag-get ng attention ng mga estudyante mo. And then number 4 is presenting the stimulus. So, after recall ng prior learning is pwede ka nang mag-present ng stimulus mo or mag-discuss. So, kailangan when you are discussing is kailangan nakokontrol mo yung mga estudyante mo. For example, minsan may mga pagkakataon talaga na boring yung topic. So, dapat maghanap ka ng strategies para hindi ma-board yung mga estudyante mo, or kahit naboboard sila is makikinig sila sa'yo kasi matatakot sila na baka hindi sila makasagot. So, when you are presenting is kailangan ma-maintain mo yung interesado yung mga estudyante mo sa dinidiscuss mo. And the number 5 is providing learner guidance. So, along the way of discussion is mayroon talagang instances na nagtatanong or nagpo-post ng question yung mga estudyante. So, as a teacher, it is your role to guide or bigyan ng kasagutan yung mga tinatanong ng mga estudyante mo, or kung halimbawa nagtanong sila, ma'am, ganito ganyan, and then you as a teacher is kailangan mo yung sagutin kasi kaya nagtatanong yung mga estudyante kasi hindi nila alam yung tinatanong nila. And then number 6 is eliciting performance. So, ngayon sa Keto 12 curriculum is kung dati is more on traditional assessment tayo, kasi dati more on paper and pencil, ngayon is more on performance na tayo. So, kailangan is bigyan mo ng performance yung mga estudyante mo, and when you are giving them performance, make sure is alam nila kung ano ba yung dapat nilang gawin or yung criteria na nang gagawin nila kung paano mo sila gagraduhan. So, eliciting performance, binibigyan ng performance yung mga estudyante para ma-identify ng teacher kung meron ba silang natutunan sa diniscuss or tinuro mo. And then, the number 7 is giving feedback. So, kapag nagkaroon na sila or nag-perform na sila, as a teacher, it is your duty or role to give feedback to the performance na ginawa nila. So, kailangan is when you are giving feedback is dapat is kung halimbawa hindi masyadong maganda yung ginawa ng estudyante mo is hindi ka gagamit ng mga harsh words na masasaktan sila. So, kailangan is sabihin mo yung feedback mo in a good way na hindi sila masasaktan kundi mabuboost yung confidence nila. And kapag naman maganda yung ginawa nila is bigyan mo ng good feedback para sa next na performance or activities, mas lalo pa nilang pagbubutihin yung gagawin nila. And then the number 8 is assessing performance. So, para din siyang itong giving feedback. So, parang, but in assessing performance is parang along the activity or the performance. So, parang in-assess mo sila, parang pwede mo silang tanongin, okay class, kamusta yung performance nyo? Kamusta yung activity nyo? So, parang inalam mo kung nag-work ba yung mga estudyante mo, ginagawa ba nila yung binigay mong performance. Kasi minsan, ang ginagawa ng mga estudyante is, kapag malapit ang deadline, doon pa lang sila gagawa or magka-cramming na tapusin yung trabaho, and then, ang ending is, parang magiging hindi maganda yung resulta ng performance nila. So, kailangan is habang hindi pa nila napapasa or nagagawa is kailangan i-assist mo sila kung ano ba yung hindi nila naintindihan. Pwede mo silang i-assist and so that maging maganda yung outcome ng performance nila. And the last one is the enhancing retention and transfer. So, as a teacher, it is your job to summarize or lahat ng na-discuss nyo along the activity, along the discussion is, kailangan is i-summarize mo or i-discuss mo ulit yung mga napag-aralan nyo or natapos nyo para hindi makalimutan ng estudyante mo yung pinag-aralan nila. And so, yun na nga, enhancing retention and transfer is, you going to summarize or i-discuss mo ulit kung ano yung napag-aralan nyo, the previous topic. So, minsan kasi may mga teacher na nagbibigay lang ng report and then, hindi na inuulit or sinasabi sa mga estudyante kung ano ba yung mali or tama. So, di ba minsan may mga teacher na, halimbawa, okay, class, report nyo to. So, pagkatapos ng report, mai-report ng estudyante ni Ice, wala na, yun lang. Wala na siyang ibibigay na feedback or parang hindi niya i-retain or wala siyang walang maganap na transferring of knowledge. So, parang yung estudyante lang lahat ang nagbigay, mali man or tama. So, yun, kung ano yung narinig ng mga class niya is wala nang, akala nila yun na yung tama kasi hindi retain or nag-transfer ng knowledge yung teacher. And now, let us proceed to this example, lesson example or the conditions of learning. So, ito siya is itong sa events of instruction, ito siya yung 9 events of instruction, and then dito is my example or tinatawag na conditions of learning. So ito yung title ng module na to, Conditions of Learning by Robert Gagne. So ang example nito or condition of learning is, sa gining attention is, teacher tells learners how she has used PowerPoint in the classroom, shows an example or a PowerPoint, and then ask learners question about using PowerPoint. So, para maging ng teacher yung attention ng mga estudyante niya is, pwede siyang magbigay or turo sa mga estudyante niya kung paano ba gawin yung PowerPoint, paano gumawa. So, parang ito is yung ginagawa natin sa ComLab. So, shows an example of a PowerPoint. So, pwede ka rin magpakita ng PowerPoint para sa ganon is tumingin or mag-focus yung mga estudyante mo sa binibigay mong example. And then, pwede ka rin ask or magtanong sa mga estudyante mo kung halimbawa class, may prior knowledge na ba kayo how to make PowerPoint, how to use computer or laptop. So with that is parang yung mga may alam na sasagot ng yes ma'am, and then yung wala naman is minsan tahimik lang, and then yun siya para magin mo yung attention ng mga estudyante mo. So rationally is it giving background information creates validity. The use of multimedia grabs the audience attention. So, yung paggamit ng multimedia presentation is nakaka-grab or nakaka-help yun para makuha mo yung attention ng mga audience mo. And then, asking questions in the beginning creates an interactive atmosphere. So, yun na nga, kapag tatanong ka sa mga estudyante mo is nagka-create yun ng interactive atmosphere kasi while nagtatanong ka, sasagot naman yung mga estudyante mo, and then magtatanong ka naman ulit, and then sasagot naman sila. So nagkakaroon ng interaction, and with that mas lalong nagiging interesado yung mga student mo sa gagawin yung topic or lesson. And then the number 2 is informing the learner of the objective. Teacher says, today we are going to work on using a multimedia presentation software, Microsoft PowerPoint. So, parang sinabi niya na, okay, ngayong araw is gagawa or maggagawa tayo ng Microsoft PowerPoint or halimbawa, in-inform mo sila kung ano ba yung gagawin or kung ano ba yung matutunan nila sa araw na iso. Kailangan is matutulo silang gumawa ng Microsoft presentation. So, ang rationale is, it makes learners aware of what to expect so that they are aware and prepared to receive information. So, of course, kapag sinabi mo yun sa kanila is, alam nila or ma-aware sila kung ano ba ang dapat nilang paghandaan or kung ano ba yung dapat nilang matutunan. And then the number 3 is stimulating recall of prior learning. For this particular group of learners, they have learned previously about Microsoft Windows, particularly Microsoft Word. Teacher associates this knowledge with lesson at hand. So, minsan naman is may mga, halimbawa, yun na nga, gagawa na kayo ng Microsoft presentation is, may mga estudyante ka talaga na so halimbawa, marunong na sila gumawa or gumamit ng computer or gumamit ng Microsoft. So, pwedeng gamitin ng teacher na yon or so, parang si teacher is kung mayroon siyang kailangan na hindi niya alam kung paano is pwede siyang humingi ng help sa kanyang estudyante. And then, ang rationale niya is when learning something new, assessing prior knowledge is a major factor in the process of acquiring new information. So, kailangan is i-assess mo din yung prior knowledge ng estudyante mo kasi minsan, ang mga estudyante mo is yung prior knowledge nila is akala nila tama pero ang totoo pala is hindi kasi yung dati may na-experience ako nung grade 11 ako is 'di ba yung performance task and then ang pinaglaban nila is kapag isang tao lang ang gagawa or isang estudyante lang ang gagawa is ang tawag doon is performance task, wala yung performance lang. So parang nung time na yon is pinaglaban niya na sinabi ng teacher nila na kapag isa lang yung magpa-perform or gagawa is performance and kapag madami down is yun magiging performance task. So sinabi ni teacher na hindi isa man or marami kailangan performance or performance task pa rin yung word na gagamitin. And then yung estudyante na yon is parang pinaglaban niya talaga and then nagkaroon parang na pinatulan niya talaga, hindi talaga nagpatarlo si teacher na dapat yun yung term na tama kasi syempre yun yung tama na. So at the end is nanalo si teacher over sa kanyang estudyante. So yung minsan kailangan i-assist din natin yung prior knowledge ng mga estudyante natin kasi sa past grade or level is marami silang natututunan sa mga teacher na minsan is hindi pala yun yung tama. So, kapag nalaman mo yun na yun yung paniniwala nila is you have to assess them para itama yung believe nila. And then number 4 is presenting the stimulus. Teacher give students hands-on step-by-step tutorial on using PowerPoint. So, di ba nung gumagawa pumapasok tayo sa Comlab is tinuturoan tayo ni Ma'am Abad kung paano gawin yung step-by-step na pinapagawa niya sa atin. And then yun siya. So parang tutorial on using how to do Microsoft PowerPoint. And then ang rationale is the goal is information acquisition. Therefore, the stimulus employed is written content in the actual software program. So kailangan is kapag ituturo mo yung step ng halimbawa yung ituturo mo how to do Microsoft PowerPoint is kailangan is pwede kang magbigay ng written content. Halimbawa, di ba pag exam is nagbibigay si ma'am ng set A and set B na papel na yun yung susundin natin without telling a word or without using word. So with that written exam is alam natin kung ano yung gagawin natin. So, hindi na siya magsasalita. And pwede naman na actual software program. Pwede naman na nasa computer na nasa program na. And then, number 5 is providing learner guidance. So, teacher demonstrate how to create a presentation. Teacher moves around and shows students how to use the tools to type text, add links, add symbols in clip art, insert videos in diagrams, use sounds, etc. Learners are allowed to try the tools demonstrated in partners on their computer. So, halimbawa, yun na nga yung nag-start na maggawa-gawa ng yung estudyante mo how to do Microsoft PowerPoint, and then ipapakita mo sila or i-guide mo sila kung paano ba gawin. And then, iba minsan may hindi nakakasunod na estudyante. Ma'am, paano yun? So, parang hindi sila nakasunod sa binigyan mong instruction. And then, pupuntahan mo sila. And then, ituturo mo na sila, okay, ganito class, ganito, ganito, ganito. And then, yun. You are providing learner the guidance that they need along the learning. And then, sa rationally naman is teacher uses discovery learning because learners are adults and it gives them the freedom to explore. Teacher facilitates the learning process by giving hints and cues when needed. Since the audience are pre-serviced with some basic level of technology skills in the software, program is easy to follow and understand. Guidance is minimal. So, ito naman is yung mga pre-service na mga estudyante is pwede ka lang magbigay ng mga clues or so parang mga hints good, kasi kapag ang estudyante mo is mga pre-service, ibig sabihin may experience na sila how to do Microsoft presentation. So, pwedeng hindi ka na as in magbigay ng step-by-step instruction kung paano gawin, kasi may background or experience naman sila kung paano gawin yon. And then, number 7 is eliciting performance. Teacher asks students to demonstrate PowerPoint tools. So, ito na yung bibigyan mo sila ng gagawin or parang magpapa-activity ka or bibigyan mo sila ng performance. So, pwedeng sabihin ni teacher na halimbawa, okay class, paano ba gumawa ng PowerPoint? O, pwede mo silang ipa-demonstrate kung paano. So, di ba minsan halimbawa sa computer na subject is minsan is pinapagawa tayo ni ma'am ng, di ba yung mga exam natin dati is binibigyan lang tayo na, okay class, ganito yung gagawin nyo. And then, after is kapag nag face to face na tayo is tatanungin niya, okay, paano nito ginawa, ganito, ganyan. So, parang i-explain natin, and then, parang pinademonstrate mo sila kung talagang natutunan ba nila or nasundan ba nila yung tinuro mo o pinag-aralan nila. And then, ang rationale is requiring the learner to produce based on what has been taught enables the learner to confirm their learning. So, parang with this eliciting performance is na mi-measure mo kung ano, halimbawa natutunan ba talaga nila yung tinuro mo or kailangan mong i-reteach yung topic or discussion na yon. So, parang ang performance, it serves as a measurement kung talagang naintindihan ba yung estudyante mo yung diniscuss mo or hindi. And then number 7 is giving feedback. Teacher gives immediate feedback to learners after eliciting performance. So, halimbawa, after the performance is kailangan magbigay ka na ng feedback para malaman ng estudyante kung ano ba yung maling nagawa nila and kung ano ba yung dapat pa nilang i-improve. Feedback is very important to learners kasi hindi nila alam kung tama ba yung sinasabi or ginagawa nila. So, like me, ito, nagre-report ako. So, pwedeng magbigay si ma'am ng feedback kung ano ba yung dapat kong i-improve or kung may mali man ako na nasabi kasi hindi ako 100% sure na tama yung sinasabi ko. And then, pwede magbigay si ma'am ng feedback kung ano ba yung dapat kong i-improve. And then, regular feedback enhances learning. So, feedback is parang nabuboost mo yung confidence or tinuturuan mo yung estudyante na dapat is mas galingan pa nila in the next performance or in the next activity. And then number 8 is assessing performance. Assign a practice activity. Create an electronic storybook using Microsoft PowerPoint. Teacher checks work. And then ito naman is pwede mo silang bigyan ng activity na gagawin nila na pwedeng parang assignment good. Halimbawa, kung paano gumawa ng Microsoft PowerPoint and electronic storybook. So, parang assignment, and then after is i-check ni teacher kung nagawa ba nila or hindi. So, parang i-assist niya ni teacher yung performance na ginawa ng estudyante niya. And then the rationale is independent practice forces students to use what they learn and apply it. Assessing such gives instructors a means of testing student learning and information. And ito is with this is parang halimbawa kapag binigyan mo sila ng task individual or not individually, so parang kung ano yung natutunan nila is mapupush nila yung sarili nila, gawin nila yung kasi independent activity. So parang hindi sila pwedeng umasa sa kaibigan or kaklase nila kasi independent yon. So walang magsasave sa sarili nila kundi sila din. So it gives them or it forces them to use what they have learned and apply it. So kung ano yung natutunan nila is magagawa nila or makaka-help sila sa kanila para gawin yung activity na yon. And then the last one is enhancing retention and transfer. Teacher asks learner to create activities using PowerPoint presentation for 6th grade pupils. Teacher also assign learner to teach another learner how to make PowerPoint presentation. So in here is pwedeng magpa-activity si ma'am kung paano gumawa ulit ng PowerPoint presentation, and then pwede naman siyang humingi ng tulong sa mga learner na turuan yung ibang learner na hindi marunong gumawa. Diba minsan may estudyante talaga na ahead or mas average siya compared to the other students. So pwedeng sabihin ni ma'am na okay class, tulungan nyo or turuan nyo yung mga classmate nyo hindi pa marunong kung paano gumawa ng PowerPoint presentation. So, with that is natatransfer yung knowledge ng ibang learner sa kaklase nila. And then, ang rationale nito is applying learning in real life situation is a step towards mastery learning. So, kapag ina-apply mo yung natutunan mo sa real life situations is parang mas lalong nahahasa yung talent mo or knowledge mo sa bagay na yan. So halimbawa, 'di ba, kapag ang isang learner is tinuruan niya yung kasama niyang estudyante din is in the near future or in the future is kapag nagkaroon na siya ng trabaho and then na encounter niya yung ganoong sitwasyon na gagawa ng PowerPoint presentation, kasi as a future educator, so hindi naman natin maiwasan na gumawa ng presentation. So kapag in the future is so parang marirealize mo na ito pala yun, kaya pala na pinapagawa ni ma'am kasi at the end of the day is magagamit ko rin tong knowledge na yun. And then, kapag ganun is master mo na yung gagawin mo or marunong na or hasa ka na kung paano gumawa ng PowerPoint presentation. And that would be all, everyone. Thank you so much for listening.